and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope right here on Channels Television. I am Anne Nwawadu. On Kaleidoscope today, we speak with the Chief Executive Officer of the African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja, Nigeria, Brian Diva, as we discuss the operations of the medical facility and the progress made so far. Once again, welcome to Kaleidoscope. The African Medical Center of Excellence is one of the largest specialized private hospitals in Nigeria and West Africa, focused on cardiovascular diseases and services, hematology, comprehensive healthcare, and much more. Let's tell you more. The African Medical Center of Excellence, AMCE Abuja, is a tertiary-level multi-specialty medical institution developed by Afreximbank in collaboration with King's College Hospital, London. AMCE Abuja is a 170-bed facility that plans to expand to a 500-bed facility in 5 years. The flagship facility, specializing in non-communicable diseases, the leading health burden in Africa, is the first in a planned Pan-African network that combines cutting-edge technology, international expertise, and African resilience to provide accessible, world-class care, setting new standards in specialty healthcare and patient experience across Africa. Established in 2025 to address critical gaps, AMCE Abuja is dedicated to providing world-class care through innovative research, development, and education, delivering comprehensive services in oncology, hematology, cardiovascular care, general surgery, and much more, while also serving as a hub for medical research and training. AMCE Abuja offers highly skilled, experienced, and internationally trained medical professionals, advanced treatment options, and a clear focus on patient-centered care. The vision of the African Medical Center of Excellence is to shape a healthier and more educated future for Africa. Let's now hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja, Nigeria, Brian Diva.
Let's begin with knowledge right here in Africa, since that's what we're promoting. I mean, AMCE, the African Medical Center of Excellence, works closely with institutions like King's College Hospital in London. But how do partnerships like these ones strengthen the quality of care and accelerate knowledge across the African continent, especially when you talk about transfer of knowledge within Africa?
Yeah, well, you just hit the buzzword. It's a transfer of knowledge. And so by identifying the best organizations to work with, we're able to access decades of experience and then even within the current expertise that exists, you've got decades of experience with the specialists. We work very closely with two in particular, King's College Hospital of London that you mentioned, as well as the Christie Foundation in Manchester. The Christie provides us with clinical advisory services in oncology or cancer. And so we're very fortunate to be able to tap into those decades of experience, decades of research, and breakthroughs, quite frankly, and then transfer that knowledge here to our specialists. As we speak, we have a team of it's either 4 or 5 physicians and nurses who are in London, carrying out an observership at King's College Hospital of London in bone marrow transplants. And so it is a great way of providing the experience, providing the skills and understanding of the latest techniques and protocols where medicine's concerned.
And we know that AMCE already has achieved significant clinical milestones, including complex procedures like open heart surgery and advanced cancer treatment. But what do these breakthroughs mean for the future of specialized medicine in West Africa?
Yeah, you're exactly right. We have a clinical services strategy document that was developed in conjunction with King's College Hospital and the Christie Foundation. This 140-page document lays out for us here at African Medical Center of Excellence what we're going to be doing, how we're going to do it, and when we're going to do it. The patients that have presented to us have effectively caused us to accelerate the plan. So some of the procedures that we've done, very complex procedures, we probably were not scheduled to do them for 3 or 4 years, and we've done them in the first 3 months of operations. And might I add, spectacular outcomes. So we see that as we perform these complex procedures and we have great patient outcomes, great patient experience, that the final remaining piece of the puzzle, which is confidence in our services, that will come. And that will allow us to see more patients. It'll allow us to, again, accelerate what we're planning to do in terms of the services. Now, as you recall, we're very narrowly focused on cancer, hematology or blood disorders, and cardiovascular disease. And as we perform these specialized procedures, and we continue to expand what we are offering here, the community of Abuja, the country of Nigeria, and West Africa ultimately will benefit from that. The other thing, too, is as the word gets out on some of these amazing procedures that we're doing and our diagnostic capabilities, it allows us to attract even more specialized physicians and nurses, makes it easier for the recruitment and to ultimately build up the talent pool that we have here.
So let's talk about the challenges in Nigeria and Africa as a continent. One of those, the migration of skilled medical professionals abroad. How is AMCE creating an environment that actually attracts and retains top medical talent in Nigeria and, of course, across Africa?
Great question. When I first began understanding, and this was 3.5 years ago, about the problem of the outmigration of medical professionals. At first, I thought it was individuals looking to earn more outside of Nigeria. I was badly mistaken. That is not the driving force behind these folks leaving. They are looking for opportunities. They want to expand their skills. They want to be exposed to the latest technology, latest equipment, latest protocols. And so as we provide that here at AMCE, we are able to meet those needs. We have the latest technology here. We have all of King's and the Christie Foundation's clinical protocols. And then what we may lack, we have observerships worked out with King's College Hospital of London, where we can send our doctors and nurses, and they'll spend 2-3 weeks, sometimes more, observing and learning from some of the best doctors in the world. So that's one thing. The other thing has to do with culture. For a couple of years, we held networking events at the Royal College of Surgeons. The only people that were invited were Nigerian doctors and nurses. And we would speak for maybe 30, 45 minutes, and then the idea was to have a little networking session for another 45 minutes afterwards. 3 hours after the end of the speaking, the Royal College of Surgeons was ready to kick us out. No one had left. Everyone was still there. And one of the things that was brought up repeatedly had to do with the governance of hospitals. And those who were interested in coming back wanted to know about the governance of the African Medical Center of Excellence. And I think the easiest way to describe what we're doing here from a culture standpoint, and that would play into the governance, is a philosophy around how we treat our staff. Great friend of mine and colleague Britt Barrett in the U.S. wrote a book called Patients Come Second. I think we may have spoken about this before. And the principle there is that if we treat our staff with respect and acknowledge their great work, develop them, recognize them when they do great things, and give them the tools and resources that they need to get their job done, help them understand what's expected, then I don't have to worry about the patients, because the patients are going to be taken very well care of by this team. So, our culture is another thing that is attracting people to AMCE.
Now, beyond patient care, AMCE has ambitions in medical education and research. I remember before this interview we had talked about research, but how important is it in building long-term healthcare capacity on the continent?
Well, there's a lot of research that needs to take place, first off. When you look at the majority of the pharmaceuticals that have been developed, they were developed based on North American and European genome. Every little corner of the earth has its own unique genetic fingerprint. And what that means is we have to adapt the current pharmaceuticals to the African genome. And that means working closely with pharmaceutical companies. It means doing clinical trials, which we'll be doing here. If you saw the construction going on back here, one of those buildings is for clinical trials and research. The other thing, though, that is important is as we do research and as we publish that research, it will attract more specialists here. It will attract more world-renowned doctors and nurses to want to come and be part of that research. There are a lot of physicians who are not only excellent clinically, but excellent academically, and are on top of the latest breakthroughs in medical research. And so we know that by doing the research, we're going to draw the best of the best here. And that's what we want. We've talked about limiting outbound medical tourism, the cost to the area and region for that. And not only do we want to slow it down, we want to reverse it. We want people from India coming here. We want people from Europe coming here because of our understanding of cardiovascular, oncology, and hematology needs.
When we healthcare actually is increasingly powered by data and digital systems. Talk to us about how AMCE is using digital health platforms, electronic medical records, or even data analytics to improve patient outcomes and operational efficiency as you do your business in this center.
No, thank you. Data is a huge part of who we are and how we make decisions. And it runs across a number of disciplines. So obviously in the medical space, we are collecting information and analyzing it, understanding what is happening with patients, looking at the outcomes. Why did this patient do so well with this combination of therapies? And so we're collecting that, studying it, and learning from it. We do have a number of electronic platforms here. One is our major electronic health record that you mentioned. A lot of information is being gathered there. Things as simple as understanding where people are coming from. So if we see quite a few diagnoses that are disturbing to us, we may go back and look at where are these people from. Is there a part of Nigeria, is there a state that has an adverse selection in terms of We have far more people with that diagnosis in this little area. That tells us that we need to be contacting somebody within the federal government to be looking at the environment there, what's going on. On the financial side, we are monitoring our costs so that we can keep the cost to the patients as low as possible. So we work with dozens and dozens of vendors, and great relationship with them. And we're constantly monitoring the type of products that they're supplying to us, the costs, and we go to those lower costs as long as the quality's there. From an accounting standpoint, how efficient are we in certain departments when we're in the operating theater? What types of suture are we using? And other consumable supplies. And so everything that we do, there's data attached to it, and we're analyzing it. We've got a business intelligence analyst that works full-time here, does nothing but monitor data. And she's constantly bringing me findings, things that we can act on. Besides that, within the clinical realm, if you just look at diagnostics, mammography and radiology is very rapidly moving towards a heavier AI involvement. So at this point, rather than having two radiologists read mammography results and scans, we'll have one radiologist and AI reading. And the results are dramatically better when we have AI and one human looking at those things. And we're able to spot things much quicker. Same goes with our radiation therapy. So we have two linear accelerators for treating cancer, radiation therapy. And it is so advanced. If we've got a tumor in the chest, when the patient inhales, the beam stops. When the patient exhales, the beam's back on. And so the equipment that we have, the technology that we have, where appropriate, is utilizing AI to generate better outcomes and to prevent harm. So as you might imagine, a beam from a linear accelerator, during the course of breathing, things are moving around in there. You don't want to zap something that's healthy, and that's why we have it turning on and off with the breathing. Yeah.
We're not done just yet. When Kaleidoscope returns, we'll continue the conversation. Welcome back. You're still watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. Let's continue now with the Chief Executive Officer of the African Medical Center of Excellence, Brian Diva, as we discuss the future of the organization.
Healthcare institutions must balance clinical excellence with operational sustainability. But how is the African Medical Center of Excellence building a model that is both medically advanced and financially sustainable in the long term?
Yeah. You're asking hard questions.
Because you know that money is very important.
Yes. Now, I've worked in the past, in the U.S., as you have here, there are not-for-profit institutions and there are for-profit institutions. And really the only difference between them, besides how they govern, is one pays taxes and the other doesn't. In the past, the Catholic Church has kind of been a leader in the not-for-profit space. And I can remember having to remind some of the sisters, the nuns, no money, no mission. And so we have to make sure that we're financially sustainable to continue the mission of providing care to people. And that's very important. In this institution, it's even a little more complicated because we are bringing technology and bringing people here that didn't exist before. Literally, we brought the first 3 Tesla MRI to the area, the cyclotron out here, the CT, 256 slice CT. So there are a number of technologies that you have, PET CT that people are seeing for the first time and may never see again. It's very unique. We've recruited globally the specialists from India, from Egypt, from UK, all over the world to make sure that we have the very best talent here for patient care. And so what that means is our costs are a little higher. Now, we've been very fortunate in that when Nigeria bid on this project, and they did bid with three other countries, they won the project because of concessions that they felt were necessary that they gave to us to keep our costs down. So we're very fortunate and work very closely with various ministries within the government to accommodate and to help drive their missions forward and ours at the same time. So with those concessions that we receive, we keep our costs as low as possible. And in the process of that, we also have been very deliberate in the setting of our fees. So we could be asking a lot more than we are, but the intention here was to be able to see as many patients as we can, regardless of their ability to pay. And so we monitor prices in the marketplace. We want to be competitive. So our most commonly ordered tests and our most commonly performed procedures are market-based. So you're looking at what you would pay anywhere else within about a 20% range from a pricing standpoint. In addition to that, we were fortunate to have developed a foundation, the African Life Sciences Foundation, and that sits with Afrexim Bank. We are lucky to have raised $75 million for that foundation already. That doesn't count commitments from Novartis and from a number of the foundations that you're probably familiar with. And so we are able to utilize that for both research and for subsidizing patient care. And a number of patients have already benefited from that foundation. So we're going to continue to push the envelope on clinical excellence. And at the same time, we are making sure that with our cost structures, we are getting our supplies and equipment directly from manufacturers as much as possible, keep our costs down, and in the meantime, we continue to look for that balance. It's a very tight balance between the clinical excellence and the financial sustainability. Over time, we will even get a better handle on it. Right now, we're still young, and we are doing all that we can to grow the volumes, and the volumes will cover a multitude of issues. Yeah.
All right. Now, beyond Nigeria, the African Medical Center of Excellence was designed with a broader continental vision. And how did you see the center contributing to Africa's long-term healthcare transformation? And when you look at maybe if another 5 years from now, what do you see? Where do you see the AMCE heading?
Okay. Excellent. You know, when we first got started with AMCE Abuja, and I draw that distinction because there are plans for at least 5 of these campuses throughout Africa. We began this center with the idea that we would influence and positively affect West Africa. As we have gotten busier over these first few months, it became clear to certain members of the board that we may be limiting ourselves, constraining ourselves too much. And so now we've gone from a West African target to a Pan-African target, and largely because of the interest that has been shown in the facility from all parts of Africa. Now, that being said, because of the 5 that we're going to build, 1 effectively in each sub-region, We have been in discussions for probably a couple of years now with Tanzania and Cameroon. So we know those are the next two places that the AMCEs are going to go. We'll go through a similar process that we did here, and that is feasibility studies and gap analysis. What's missing from the healthcare space? We have no interest in competing with the existing excellent facilities that are already in place. So what we want to do is identify how can we complement what's already there. And just like we did here with these three specialties, we'll do that in these other places and put in services that are needed there. Don't know where the final two will go, or if that'll even be the final two. We've had interest from, enough interest to know we could probably build 10 of these, and that might not be enough. And then the Caribbean also, as it has gotten more active with the African Union. So, you know, where we expect to be in 5 years, first and foremost, we want to be recognized as a center of excellence for the three specialties that we talked about. We want people to know that they don't need a visa to seek health care, that they can get the world's best health care right here in Africa, whether it's here in Abuja, whether it's in Tanzania, Cameroon, and at the same time, we want to be able to show the collaborations between the AMCE and other hospitals, not only in Nigeria, but in the region and beyond. We've had dialogue with hospitals as far away as Kenya and across the continent. So those two things, and then we have drawn baselines, gotten baseline data on the outbound medical tourism and on the outflow of your clinical professionals. And so what we want to see is a dramatic reduction in outbound medical tourism, a dramatic reduction in our doctors and nurses that are leaving Africa to go to other places. And not only that, we want to see those numbers reversed. We want to recruit those people back home. We want to draw people in from other continents because of our abilities and what they recognize as top-tier healthcare.
All right. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's where we end Kaleidoscope for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Don't forget, you can watch past editions of the program. Just go to youtube.com/channelsweb, type Kaleidoscope in the search box, and enjoy your time with it. I'll see you again very soon. Please stay safe.